Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're stripping away the glossy brochure version of the topic we usually cover and getting into the gritty, unpolished reality. You know, usually when we talk about this subject, we focus on the kids. We talk about trauma, attachment, the system. But today we are talking about the person who has to absorb all of that. We're talking about you.
It's the elephant in the room, isn't it?
It really is.
We spend huge amounts of energy and policy and funding on the welfare of the child, which obviously is the point. But we often completely neglect the infrastructure that keeps that care going. And that infrastructure, that's the foster care.
Right, and I think there's this weird silence around it. Like, if you admit that fostering is draining or that it's taking a toll on your marriage or your mental health, you're somehow...
Yeah, failing the child.
Exactly. We've got a stack of sources today from Capstone Foster Care, the Fostering Network, Foster Talk, and our mission is to flip the script. We are moving from caring for the child to caring for the carer.
And honestly, it is about time. If you look at the data, the average person thinks about fostering for over 2 years before they even make that first phone call.
2 years, wow.
Yeah, that's a long gestation period.
Yeah.
It means the people entering this field aren't doing it on a whim. They're deeply committed, they want to help. But that specific type of personality, the I want to save the world personality, is actually the most susceptible to burning out.
That's the superhero complex, right? The idea that because you signed up for this, because you chose to do it, you sort of forfeit the right to be tired. You have to be this infinite well of patience. But looking at these articles, the message is screamingly clear. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
It's a cliche for a reason. But in fostering, an empty cup doesn't just mean you're grumpy. It means the placement breaks down. So today we are unpacking the safety nets.
Okay.
We have the formal stuff social workers, structural models like Mockingbird, and the informal stuff, which is, finding your tribe. But before we get to the solutions, we have to name the problem.
Yeah, let's get into the weeds here. The sources keep using this term, compassion fatigue.
Right.
Now, to me, that sounds a bit like corporate speak for I need a nap. But reading into the psychological breakdown, it's way more serious than that, isn't it?
Though much more serious. And I'm glad you made that distinction because people often confuse it with standard burnout. Burnout is what happens when you work too many hours at the office.
Okay.
You take a week off, you sleep, you bounce back. Compassion fatigue is different. It's sometimes called secondary traumatic stress.
Secondary traumatic stress. That sounds intense.
It is. It's the physical and emotional exhaustion that comes specifically from the act of caring for someone who is in trauma. When you're fostering, you are constantly empathizing. You are tuning your nervous system to regulate a child who might be in a state of, chaos.
Oh, it's like your empathy muscle just snaps.
In a way, yes. The literature refers to a state called locked care.
Locked care.
Yeah, and it's fascinating and terrifying. Basically, to protect itself from the constant rejection or trauma coming from the child, the parent's brain shuts down the capacity for empathy.
Wait, hold on. Your brain actually shuts down empathy. That seems like the worst possible thing to happen when you're fostering.
It's a defense mechanism. Think about it. If you are constantly trying to love a child who is pushing you away or screaming at you or rejecting you because of their past trauma, your brain eventually says, "This hurts too much, I'm checking out."
That explains that feeling one of the Foster Talk blogs described. They called it the sullen car journey. You're driving the kid to school, they're kicking the back of the seat, and instead of engaging, you just go silent. You feel cold. And then immediately comes the guilt. You think, I'm a monster. Why don't I care right now?
Exactly. And that guilt is the killer. But if you understand the neuroscience, you realize it's not a moral failing, it's biology. These children often operate from a fear-based worldview. They require high structure and high nurture simultaneously. You have to be the rock and the hug at the same time, 24/7. That takes a massive toll on your cortisol levels, your sleep, your whole nervous system.
So if you're feeling that blocked care, that sudden withdrawal, it's not because you're a bad person. It's because you are a human being doing superhuman work.
Precisely. You are the external nervous system for a child whose own system is misfiring. If you don't acknowledge that emotional tax, you will bankrupt yourself.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. We're tired, our brains are blocking care to survive, and we feel guilty about it. So how do we fix it?
Well, the sources point to two main pillars: formal support and informal support.
Let's start with the formal side because I think there's a huge misconception here regarding social workers.
There is. And it's the distinction between the child social worker and the supervising social worker, or SSW.
I'll be honest, when I read through the new Carer forums, there is a lot of fear around social workers. There's this feeling of, if I tell them I'm struggling, they'll think I can't cope, and they'll remove the child.
Yep.
It feels like an inspection, not a support system.
That is a very common fear.
Yeah.
But it's one you have to overcome if you want to survive in this. You have to understand the roles. The child social worker, yes, they represent the child. But the SSW, they are there for you.
For me.
For you. Their job is to ensure you have the capacity to keep going.
So that monthly supervision meeting, it's not a white glove test to see if the house is dusty.
It shouldn't be. No. The sources describe it as a safety valve. It should be a vent session.
Yeah.
That is the designated space, to be brutally honest. If you're finding a particular behavior incredibly triggering, or if you're struggling with the bureaucracy, the SSW is the person you tell.
But practically speaking, how do you do that without sounding like you're quitting? If I sit there and say, I really don't like this kid right now, isn't that going to raise all sorts of red flags?
It's all about how you frame it. But honesty is key. A good SSW knows about blocked care. So if you say, I'm feeling really depleted and I'm finding it hard to connect this week, a good SSW hears, I need support strategies, not, I am unfit.
Okay.
They can't advocate for you. They can't get you extra funding or respite if you are masking how hard it is.
And it's not just the monthly chat, right? One thing that stood out in the capstone guide was the out-of-hours service.
Crucial. Absolutely crucial. Fostering doesn't happen 9 to 5. Crises usually happen at 2 a.m. on a Saturday.
Of course.
You need to know that there's a professional on the end of the line. Just knowing that safety net is there can lower your stress levels, even if you never use it.
Now, speaking of structural support, there is a model mentioned in the BBC source and the Fostering Network that sounds like a total game changer, the Mockingbird model.
Ah, yes.
It sounds a bit like a sci-fi project, but it's actually really warm.
It's the single most exciting development in foster support in years. It basically tries to engineer an extended family within the system.
Because the reality is a lot of foster carers lose their own extended family support, right? Grandma and grandpa might find the foster child's behavior too much to handle, so they step back.
Exactly. So Mockingbird creates a constellation.
Yeah.
You have a central hub home, which is run by an experienced foster carer who is paid specifically to support the group.
Okay.
Then, orbiting around that hub, you have 6 to 10 other foster families living nearby.
And the hub home isn't an office.
No, it's a home. It's like going to your favorite aunt's house. The hub carer organizes Sunday lunches, sleepovers, social activities, that kind of thing.
The sleepover part is what got me. Usually, if you need a break, the child goes to respite care, which might be a stranger's house. It feels clinical.
It can feel like rejection.
Yeah.
Right. But in Mockingbird, the child goes to the hub home. They know the hub carer. They've had dinner there. They've played with the dog there. It's not respite. It's a sleepover at Auntie Sarah's.
Ah, I see.
It normalizes the break for the child and removes the guilt for the carer. It creates a community where you are not just a file number, you're a part of a tribe.
Tribe is the perfect word. And that leads us to the informal support side of things. Because as great as a Mockingbird hub is, sometimes you just need a mate to have a coffee with. But the sources are pretty blunt here. Your old friends might not cut it.
It's the coffee morning factor. And I know hearing coffee morning makes some people roll their eyes. It sounds trivial, but the isolation of fostering it's dangerous.
But why can't I just vent to my best friend from college? Why does it have to be another foster carer?
Because your friend from college, as much as they love you, does not speak the language. They don't understand the specific high-stakes complexities.
Give me an example. What's something only a foster carer would get?
Okay. Take the Monday to Sunday rule regarding tax relief.
Oh, this was in the finance section. I had to read it twice.
It's a very niche piece of tax law. HMRC calculates the weekly tax relief for foster carers from Monday to Sunday. So if a child is placed with you on a Sunday night, even for just that one day, you are entitled to the tax relief for the full week.
Wait, really? So if they arrive at 8 p.m. on Sunday, I get the whole previous week's tax break?
Yes. But try explaining why that is exciting to someone who works a 9 to 5. They'll look at you like you're obsessing over pennies.
Right.
But another foster carer, they get it. They know that fostering finances are weird and unpredictable, and that one rule might pay for the groceries that week.
That's a great point. It's the shorthand. You don't want to have to explain the backstory of why you're stressed about a court date or what LAC reviews are.
Exactly. Or the emotional roller coaster of birth-family contact. Your civilian friends might say, well, if the birth parents are toxic, why do they see them?
Right, they don't get it.
They don't understand the legal obligation or the complex loyalty the child feels. In a support group, or even just a WhatsApp group with other carers, you get immediate validation without the need for a 20-minute lecture.
The sources mention that agencies like Capstone organize these events. They aren't just trying to force fun on you, they're trying to help you build that contact list.
It's networking. You are building your informal safety net. You need a person you can call who won't judge you when you say, I locked myself in the bathroom for 5 minutes today just to breathe.
Which brings us to the topic of taking a break. The forbidden fruit, as one source called it.
Respite care.
Yes. Why is there so much stigma around this? The data suggests carers feel like asking for respite is admitting defeat.
It's the superhero complex again. We feel that if we send the child away, we are re-traumatizing them. We are just another adult rejecting them.
But you're saying we need to reframe that completely.
Completely. Respite is not rejection. It is sustainability planning.
Sustainability planning.
Think of it this way. You are running a marathon. Stopping for a drink of water isn't quitting the race. It's the only way you finish the race.
I like that phrase, sustainability planning. It sounds strategic. It sounds proactive.
It is. If you wait until you are desperate to ask for respite, you have waited too long. You should use it before you were broken. And for the child, if it's handled right, it's not rejection. It's an expansion of their world.
There was a brilliant example in the Foster Talk source called the Weekender Scheme. This sounded so much better than traditional respite.
It's fantastic. Instead of a placement, the child is paired with a volunteer, an individual or a couple who act like an aunt or uncle. They take the child out for 1 weekend a month.
Just for fun.
Yeah, they go to the zoo, they go swimming, they go to the cinema.
So for the kid, it's a mini holiday. I'm going to see Uncle Dave and we're going to the trampoline park.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The child gets a fun weekend and a new positive relationship with an adult. The carer gets 48 hours to sleep, reset, maybe go on a date with their partner, or just sit in silence. It's a win-win. But you have to view it as a tool for longevity, not a panic button.
Longevity is the goal here. We want to keep doing this, and part of staying in the game is feeling like you actually know what you're doing. This leads us to our final pillar, empowerment through training.
Knowledge is the best buffer against stress. One of the biggest drivers of burnout is helplessness. The feeling that you are facing a behavior you simply cannot control or understand.
The sources highlight a specific model called PACE, P-A-C-E. Playfulness, acceptance, curiosity, and empathy. Now, I have to play the skeptic here. Playfulness. If a kid is just throwing a remote control at the TV, the last thing I feel is playful.
No, I get that.
That sounds like it would just make me look like a pushover.
I get that reaction a lot. It feels counterintuitive.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to remember the neuroscience. If a child is throwing a remote, they are likely in a fight state. Their brain is screaming, danger. If you come in with a stern, shouty voice, you are just confirming the danger. You are adding fuel to the fire.
So what does playfulness actually look like in that scenario? I'm not going to start juggling for them.
No, but it's about tone. It's about de-escalating the atmosphere. Instead of shouting, don't do that, you might use a lighter, almost surprised tone. Whoa, that remote has some serious velocity. Are we training for the Olympics?
Okay, I see. You're breaking the tension. You're confusing their defense mechanism.
Exactly. You are signaling, I am not a threat, I am not angry, I am in control. It disarms them.
Then curiosity is the other big one. This shifts you from a disciplinarian to a detective.
Yes. Instead of reacting to the behavior, stop stealing food, you get curious about the need behind it. I noticed the biscuits are gone from the tin. I wonder if you were worried there wouldn't be enough dinner later.
That is a huge shift. You aren't accusing, you're wondering.
And that wondering creates a wedge of distance between you and the anger. It stops you taking it personally. You realize they aren't stealing to make me mad. They're stealing because they used to go hungry. When you understand the why, the behavior becomes much less exhausting to deal with.
But this stuff isn't innate. We aren't born knowing how to do therapeutic parenting. You have to learn it.
You do. And that's why continuous professional development isn't just a box-ticking exercise for the agency. It's armor for you.
We found a specific resource that the listeners requested we mention, Allison.com. They apparently have a whole suite of free training.
They do, and it's an incredible resource. They have free courses on trauma-informed care, Managing Challenging Behavior and Child Psychology.
And it's free. That's the key. You can do it from your laptop at home.
And think about the difference in your stress levels. If you face a crisis and you feel unskilled, you panic. If you face a crisis and you have a toolkit, if you know why it's happening and what to do, it's still hard, but it's manageable. You move from chaos to competence.
Competence reduces stress. I like that. So let's try to pull this all together because we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. We started with the emotional tax. We named the beast compassion fatigue and blocked care. It's not just being tired, it's a biological defense mechanism.
We looked at the formal safety net, using your supervising social worker not as an inspector, but as a vent. Being honest about your struggles so they can actually help you.
We talked about the Mockingbird model, creating those constellations of support, so respite feels like a sleepover at Auntie's, not a clinical intervention.
And the importance of your informal tribe, finding those people who understand the Monday to Sunday tax quirk and the unique madness of the system, so you don't have to explain yourself constantly.
And finally, upskilling, using resources like Allison.com and models like PACE to turn yourself from a firefighter into a therapeutic parent.
It really all comes down to infrastructure, doesn't it? You cannot build a house on sand, and you cannot build a foster home on willpower alone.
That's the takeaway. We often ask, is the child ready for a home? We look at their files, their history, but we rarely flip the question.
Is the home supported enough for the child?
Exactly. Because the most effective tool in a foster child's life isn't a therapy session, and it isn't a new school. It is a regulated, rested, and supported foster carer. If you aren't okay, the child won't be okay.
That is the thought to leave you with. Are you treating your own well-being as a priority or an afterthought? Because the child needs you to be the priority.
Absolutely.
If this deep dive has sparked some thoughts, or if you are one of those people who's been thinking about fostering for 2 years and hasn't made the move yet, take a small step. Download the beginner's guide mentioned in the source material.
Or just Google foster care agencies near me.co.uk. Just see what's out there.
And do not forget to click the link below to check out the free training at allison.com. Even if you are just curious, understanding trauma is a life skill that applies everywhere.
There are thousands of children in need of carers, but more importantly, they are in need of supported carers.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Take care of yourself so you can take care of them. We'll catch you next time.